Hey man, thank you guys for watching the content, watching all of the interviews. Make sure you like, subscribe, and also leave a comment, man. Vibing with Veto. Just take 1 second out your day and leave a comment, like, or subscribe. Let's get back to the interview. Okay, we live in the crib, Vibing with Veto. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on the YouTube at Vibing with Veto. Also follow us on the Instagram at Vibing with Veto. You already know the slogan, we vibrating higher. And today, I got somebody special in the building with me. Introduce yourself to the people.
What's up, y'all? It's Cliff Vmir, celebrity hairstylist, entrepreneur, and rapper.
For sure, for sure. I appreciate you for coming to Vibe with Veto.
Thank
First
you.
and foremost.
Thank you.
I got $1 million question for you. Everybody that sits on this couch, I asked them the same question.
Okay.
How big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail?
I would dream how I dream now.
Okay, for sure.
I dream big. I do the absolute most. Like I dream I dream past
Astronomical.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take it back to like the start of the journey. Like how did you get into like being a professional hairstylist, all of that stuff, which transitioned into the music too as well?
So, like as a child, I always had like an interest in hair, of course.
For sure.
I was a gay child. My dad used to try to make me play in sports. I used to have like mannequins and stuff, hide them under my bed. I eventually, when my dad realized this was something that I wanted to do full throttle, he ended up leaving me and my mom. And when he left us, I started using it, using me doing hair. I started doing friends' hair, catching the bus, my mom ended up moving on her own. She started letting me take appointments in the basement. And then I remember going to a vocational high school for cosmetology. And I just remember going full throttle with it. I had the city on lock. I was buzzing.
Thanks.
Everybody wanted their hair done by me. And then before you know it, celebs started coming to me. And then I just like blew up.
Okay, for sure. Was this in Atlanta or where was this?
No, this was in Delaware.
Okay, cool. All right, Delaware.
I was 15, 16.
For sure. So what? So when did you move to Atlanta? Like, how did the whole Atlanta journey start too, as well?
So I moved to Atlanta like 2 months after I graduated high school in 2015.
For sure.
I just wanted more. I wanted, they said Atlanta was the Black Hollywood. So I'm like, well, shit, let's go to Atlanta.
Right.
When I came, it was really different because Delaware is like a really small state. It's not really much there. So, you bumping shoulders with all these celebrities and stuff. And then I just kind of felt like from me being a hairstylist, I became a celebrity in my own right. And it was up.
So would you say that Atlanta kind of like basically catapulted your career too as well versus Delaware? Was it like two different markets? Like,
no, it's two different markets because I feel like Delaware is what really put me on the map.
Okay.
That's where I did my groundwork at. Like,
For sure.
I will always like cherish that. Like, that's where I really learned who I was as a person and just what my craft was. Atlanta put me in a grind mode and because in Delaware, like you can make as a hairstylist, you can make like $800 to $1,000, and you feel like you got the city on lock.
like a day or
yeah, a day.
Okay.
Atlanta, you make $800 to $1,000. You like
right. Facts.
I ain't do good today.
Facts.
So when I moved to Atlanta, it was a different lifestyle. Like in Delaware, luxury compared to Atlanta luxury is two different things. So when I moved to Atlanta, I thought I was living luxury, but I was really not. So it kind of got me in that, like, again, being my own celebrity, but really knowing what like luxury really is. And I just kind of started shooting for the stars, like everything.
Facts.
Like when I moved here, I had a Dodge Charger.
Facts.
I thought I was big shit because that's what big shit was in Delaware. When you get to Atlanta, you see G wagons and Rolls Royces and Bentleys. Like you don't really see that. You see hoopties, but you don't see as many as you see in Delaware. The Philly area. So coming out here was just like pure motivation.
Right. Would you say it was like kind of like? I would say, okay, so the Black Hollywood and stuff like that, would you say it was like life-changing for you too as well? Because, I mean, you're coming from like up north then to the south, but like you said, now you see the G-Wagons, the Bentleys. Did it make your like grind, like intensify your grind a little bit more?
It intensified my grind, but life-changing, no, because I feel like my life kind of like took a drastic change when I was in high school. Like I just went from being a regular boy that did hair to like my 11th grade year, like blowing up overnight, and literally like everybody in the city city, and it wasn't like just everybody in the city. It was like everybody was flying. I had people flying in from different states.
Now that's crazy.
While I'm in high school, doing hair in a salon till like 12 midnight, waking up the next morning 6:30, driving to school, like same thing every single day. I had a whole team of people who were the same age as me, if not younger. So my life kind of started changing when I was in Delaware. Like I honestly feel, I wish I could go back to that lifestyle.
Okay, for sure. So you made a name for yourself in the hair industry, working with some of the biggest names in Black Hollywood. What inspired you to make that transition from hairstyling to rapping, and how has that journey been thus far?
I just feel like I kind of got really bored with the hair. I feel like with hair, you can get really, really burnt out really fast. And just imagine like waking up every single day and you feel like you're living your life for other people. Meaning like every time somebody's getting in my chair, they're going to go do something. They're going to go to a party or a wedding, or they're getting married. You know, you're kind of like, for a living, you're making people look pretty. And I feel like for a while, I kind of got lost. Like I lost like vision of my own self.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me try something, new. One thing about me, I love to entertain. Like whether if it's just talking, whether if it's like me just being goofy, like I love to entertain people and make people laugh, or like just entertain them. So I'm like, let me try something different. And I did the music, but when I first started, in my eyes, I thought I was
like five?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But to the world, it was just like, what the fuck? But I feel like that's why you always have to keep going, and you have to master your craft. Like, because everybody feels like when they start something, they're just a pro. And I'm a firm believer now of like, you got to do the groundwork. Like, you have to invest in yourself. And when I say invest in yourself, like I did artist development. I paid like, I want to say like $1,500 a month from 2019 all the way up until like 2021. Like, and I was consistently doing it. I was studying the craft of rap. Like I would just sit in a room in the dark by myself and just kind of start freestyling, just trying to like, I used to watch so many documentaries of like Little Kim and Foxy Brown, just trying to learn more about like their upbringing and like what hip hop meant to them and stuff. Like, I don't know, I just feel like anything you want to do, you have to like, you got to do like the groundwork. Like, you kind of got to do your research. So that's what I was doing.
Facts. Do you practice like the art of manifestation like daily? Like how did, like, okay, let me ask you this. Like, waking up every day in the morning, like, what is your mantra that sets the tone for you to be the greatest version of yourself that day?
So I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually lacking it now. Like, I feel like I'm at a place where like I'm so used to just things like just falling into place.
Right.
But when I was younger, I manifest everything. Like, I woke up and like I would be like, I'm gonna do this one day, because to me, I've always been a big dreamer. You know what I'm saying? So I would be like, oh, I'm gonna do this one day. Like I used to say, oh, I want to be on TV. I used to always say it. 2 years later, I got my own show with BET. I used to always say, oh, I want to get signed by a label. I got signed by a label. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like, I don't know. I just kind of got to figure out what do I want to do for the next step. And then I just feel like, the tongue is very powerful.
Absolutely.
So anything
you can make or break, like break anything with
anything you just keep saying, or you just, you can kind of like almost taste it, if that makes any sense. Like, if you say like, oh, I'm going to make $1 million this year. And if you really like, it's like damn near eating it as you say it, it'll happen.
Facts. So your style is very like distinctive, from your fashion to your music. Who was your biggest like influence for both hairstyling and like music? I know you said Lil Kim and like Foxy Brown and stuff like that, but like, were they like some of the people that like influenced like you to like do this too?
Not really. I'm gonna just be honest. I feel like I loved glamming women up so much that like, I'm like, shit, let me just glam myself up. Like, let me see what I look like in a wig. And then I just kind of like, even in high school, I remember like doing my eyebrows. Then like, it just kind of, I kept taking it too far. Like, not too far like that, but I kept doing like little things. I would do my brows and I would put concealer. Then, you know, but even when it comes to my fashion, like even when I dressed like a boy, I always threw that shit on. Like that was just something like back when H&M was really a thing. Like like middle school, like I always was into looking nice and just having a good appearance, like looking fresh. Like that's always been my thing. Like I be dressing my boyfriend, like he'll come and be like, how does this look? And I'll be like, no, take that off. Like I just always been into, I'm not gonna say I'm like a fashionista, I just know what looks good.
Facts.
And even when like women come and they getting their hair done and they're like, oh well, for the video, which dress, you know, I just love to like, I love to look good. I love to make people look good.
Facts. Yeah. Facts. You said H&M, and a lot of people be sleeping on H&M for real. Yeah. I went to Milan and they had that shit in there for real. And I was like, coming back over here, it's like
they don't have nothing over here.
You'll see like graphic tees. I'm big on like graphic tees and shit. So you can go in there and get a graphic tee. No, when I was in Milan, bro, they had like fits. Oh, I was like, damn.
I already know. like, and you know, I used to like dress my nieces and stuff like, and H&M Kids. I don't know if it's still like that, but H&M Kids used to really like. Oh,
facts. So, Wig Out Experience, right? Your debut BET. Well, you were debuted on BET. And they brought you into like the spotlight, transitioning you into like the music industry. How was that experience for you?
It was something new. I remember when I got the offer, you know, I didn't really believe, like I believed it. Of course, I signed my paperwork. I was just like, oh, okay. I told all my friends like, yeah, I'm filming a reality show with BET and all of y'all have to come to my house. And they all was just like, oh, okay.
They didn't believe it was going to be like...
until it really happened. Like, they're like, bitch, this shit is really happening. Like, what the fuck? And I don't even think it hit none of us until we seen that trailer. When the trailer came out, like, that's when we was like, oh my, like...
Facts.
This is really... You know what I'm saying?
Really something.
Yeah. So, again, that was just me always just speaking things into existence and just, you know, if you stay manifesting...
Right.
Yeah,
facts. So BET, like that's like a dream for like us black folks. Like, you know what I mean, to be on BET. Like, was that like one of the moments where you was like, yeah, nah, for real, I'm really doing this shit?
Yeah, I think that's when like I was like, wow, like, okay, like all of these years, I started when I was like 14, 15. At the time I filmed the show, I was 20. I'm like, wow, 5 years later, and I literally have a show with BET. Like,
that sounds crazy even saying it, right?
Like nobody like gave it to me. Like, this was something that the network,
that you worked for.
Yeah, that I worked for, you know. So I don't know. I feel like that was when I kind of just was like, yeah, I'm lit.
Facts. So you opened up for major artists like Migos, Megan Thee Stallion, Meek Mills at Philly's Powerhouse. What was that experience like, and how did that impact your confidence as a performer?
Well, this was like back in like 2019. I did Philly Powerhouse, and then I opened up a concert for Trina and G Herbo. For me, it's more so like a marketing thing at the time. Like, let's be real. Everybody, like, to my family and my friends, when they look at me, they just see Cliff. But when I go in public, you know, everybody doesn't understand like the gay and the wig. Like, they don't understand it. So for me, anytime I'm going on stage and it's an audience that is like a heterosexual audience, to me it's always like throwing dice. Like, you never know how people are going to act. You never know what's the response going to be. And I feel like for those, they were good. Like, you know, especially with it being in Philly and people knowing who I am, everybody clapped for me and, you know, was supporting me and stuff. But in my opinion, it was a good experience. But I will say, back then I used to always kind of get butterflies, just because you just kind of never know how people are going to take things. But it was good.
Did you get like any pushback from anybody? But it was all love.
It was all love.
That's
like
dope.
It was all love. It's more so like the people behind stage that around this time would just be like, huh? Like, you know, they would be like kind of like, okay,
I look at that shit like, that shit kind of lame. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
they would be like, okay, and then you got some people like, who's that? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I mean, it is what it is. But this was years ago. Now I get pushback, but like people are more like accepting of it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that too as well. But let's talk about your single. I know you said you just dropped your single.
Okay.
Let's. Okay, that's the name of the single. Talk to me about the single. What inspired the single, and like, you know what I mean, what do you expect for this debut?
So what inspired the single for me was just like, I just wanted to do something fun. I feel like when I hop on a track, I'm always so like aggressive and just like trying to give that like up north feel. And I just wanted to do something that was like fun. It could be commercial. It could be used in a fashion show, or it could be like, you know, like how nowadays everybody's like doing like the drill beats and stuff. I just wanted to do something that like younger kids can kind of just have fun. Like I just wanted to make a good record, like
a fun record.
Yeah, a fun record. Like not too much cussing.
Right.
Just something super fun. So that's where that came about. And honestly, like the minute I recorded it, I'm like, yo, this is a vibe. Like,
right.
Yeah.
So I like what you're doing on social media, like when you're doing folks' hair, and then they lean down and they start rapping and stuff like that. That's creative as hell.
Yeah, that's just me, like, because I feel like anytime I've ever dropped music, I'm not going to say I didn't know how to tie doing hair and the music together, but I just feel like things have to make sense.
Facts.
And everyone has always said like, oh, you need to do this, but it's easier said than done. But I feel like when it makes sense to me, that's when I'll do it. And I feel like for the record, okay, I feel like, you know, the verse or the part that I say, bitches is rookies, you know I'm a vet, you coming to me better come and correct. I'm a vet. Like I've been doing this since I've been 15. A lot of these people are rookies. So to me, I'm you know, it makes sense for me to do that, you know. And I've been getting like a lot of good
feedback.
Yeah, a lot of good feedback. Every time, like I haven't gotten one negative comment about the song.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Who can you hear on the remix? Really think about this though, because I know you know a lot of people.
I don't really know, because I feel like this. I want this song to do so well, but I feel like that's very cliche. Like that's cliche because everybody, like every time I drop a song, I say the same thing. I try, when it comes to my music, I try not to get my hopes so high, because I feel like when you go into something with high expectations, you sometimes get let down. And I feel like when you go, like I notice me when I go in and I'm just like, oh yeah, it's a song. I feel like that's when the unthinkable happens. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like even just things in general. Like sometimes I just like to let things ride. I'm just saying that to say like I really don't want to think about that, because I feel like what I'll start doing is worrying myself about it. And then I'll try to make it happen. You know what I'm saying?
Just let it happen.
Yeah, I just want to let it happen, but I want somebody big on it.
Facts. And you said you're signed too, right?
I'm signed to an independent label, but we're working on upstreaming me.
That's dope. Can we talk about the label that you're signed to? Or you want to kind of just keep that like?
We can talk about it.
Okay, cool. Who are you signed to currently?
It's called Big Money Records. It's in Philly.
That's dope.
They got a partnership with Republic Records and Warner.
That's hard. Quick question. So what has been the most like challenging part like of this whole journey for you? You know what I mean?
Music.
It could be music. It can be like in the hair business and stuff like that. What's challenging for you?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really have any challenges in the hair. I just feel like with the hair, I can like click my heels like Dorothy and just get what I want.
For sure.
But when it comes to the music, of course, it's just the acceptance of me being a gay rapper. When it comes
it's
to,
all good.
I'm sorry.
You good?
How the hell do I? Sorry. I feel like I make good music and stuff, but I feel like as an artist, you gotta kind of put in a lot of groundwork. Like,
Facts.
you know, as a hairstylist, like I could say, like, oh y'all, go check out my new YouTube video of me teaching you how to do some curls, and the video may get 1 million views. But if I say, hey, go check out my new music video, it may only get like 10,000 views or 50,000 views. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the conversion of just getting people to tune into your music is a lot more harder when it comes to music.
Facts. And also people like nowadays, they hate clicking links. I don't know why. Like
this
when
generation is just so
lazy. They hate clicking links. It's like that with the interviews too as well. I can have like a big ass person on the couch and literally like, hey, I'm interviewing so and so.
Yeah, and they don't care.
They don't click it until like they just see like clips like repetitiously.
Coming,
like you know what I mean?
Or something controversial that
you feel what I'm saying? Which brings me to my next question. I know we were talking about like kind of like, you know, the struggles with music and stuff like that. Gatekeeping. Do you think the music industry is still gatekeeping the LGBTQ community and stuff like that, and making it harder for them to like break through? Or do you feel like now you're seeing a change?
I'm seeing like a slight change. I just feel like it's just something that people have to get used to. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like imagine seeing someone like me for the first time. Of course, you're not used to it. But if you see another person like that and another person, like, you know, you eventually get used to it. And then, you know, you might be like, all right, cool, I ain't worried about it. They ain't bothering nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I just feel like that's what's going on with the music. The more of us that do it and we're able to kick that door down,
Facts.
the
Facts.
easier it'll be.
I was gonna ask you that too as well. Do you feel like you know what I mean, you got people that's looking up to you, and you're making it easier for them to come out and say, hey, this is who I am.
Yeah,
I want the world to accept me too as well.
Yeah, I do. I get like so many just like upcoming, like, you know, artists, whether they're hairstylists or you know, rappers that say like, Cliff, you know, keep doing what you're doing. You know, you're such a positive person. I look up to you so much. But I'm gonna be honest, the gay boys got the hair game on lock. Like, the women, they not really. Some of them are making it shake, but the gay guys, they making it shake. Like, we run the hair game. Like, all the goats are men. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the music, of course, it ain't. It's different, but we working on that.
Facts. Have you ever felt like that your fellow artists or collaborators like in the industry, they kind of like hesitated like on supporting like you as an artist too as well, versus like
gay rappers?
Well, period. Like any of like your fellow artists or just like people that you collab with like on hair, right? You may have done their hair, but it's like, hey, I also do this too as well. Check this out. Have you ever felt like it's ever been like a hesitant moment or anything like that?
So I'm a type of person, like, I don't really like being rejected, so I don't really like to act stuff like that. Like, if you booking me for hair, then we gonna talk about hair. Now, if you start talking about my music, then cool. Right. But I've never like been like, oh, hey girl, can we do a, like, I just feel like that's kind of corny. That's just how I feel.
You ever play your music like just like, you know what I mean?
They be asking, like, they'll come in and they be like, Cliff, when you dropping some more music? And I'll be like, oh, now you asking when I'm dropping more music, and they'll be like,
they're listening and they're paying attention too.
And they'll be like, oh, let me hear something, let me hear your new stuff, or, you know, when you dropping a project. Like when I did K Carbon, she was asking, you know, when I be doing Anicia hair, you know, she'll ask like, oh, you know,
like her, bro. She go hard.
Yeah, you know, so I feel like it's one thing to like just be like, I don't know, but I just feel like for you to ask, you know, to hear it, I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying?
That's
but
dope, though.
Again, it has to like be like a mutual thing.
Organic.
Like, yeah, like you gotta want to do it and I gotta want to do it for us to make it work. Because if I'm asking you and you really don't want to do it, it's just gonna be weird.
Facts.
Yeah.
So we're on Vibin with Veto, and I always ask everybody this too. Explain your vibe to the people like who are just now tuning in, although they probably already know you and shit. Like, what's your vibe?
My vibe for the most part is like, I'm real chill. Majority of the time, I'm mellow, okay? And then I have this, like, 70% of the time, no, 60% of the time, I'm really mellow, right? I'm just cool, like, I be chilling. Then, like, 10% of me, sometimes, I just have these, like, super loud, outrageous outbursts. And then, like, the other 30, I'm just, wait, I said 70?
You said 70.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that is all good.
The other 20, I'm like, I'm just real like ghetto. Like,
okay.
It's like a little bit
is
of
that the Delaware?
Hana. Yeah, it's like a little bit of Suki Hana in me. It just comes out sometimes.
Facts. Have you ever had a wow moment like yet? Like you were doing somebody's hair and it was just like, or you just were in the room with somebody and you're like, damn, I'm really
like, fuck these bitches. It's like, I'm playing. See, that was at Delaware. No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, like I feel like when I first started, I used to feel like that, but probably like the first year, like I would be like, oh my god, I'm doing this person, I'm doing that person, but after that,
facts.
Yeah.
With Impact, like, you know, you're doing all of this great shit. Like, how would you want your legacy to be like? To be known as, like, what would you want your legacy to be known as?
The GOAT, the 16-year-old prodigy icon hairstylist who almost didn't graduate high school because he wanted to chase his dreams, who, you know, the first to start a Silk in the Mist, the first to just take Instagram by storm. I feel like when I came in the game, there were only people like Tokyo Styles and like Ming Lee, but you know, they were doing their thing on Instagram, but nobody was doing it how I was doing it.
Okay.
And I took it by storm, and I just feel like I set a trend.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. That's dope. That's dope. Can we expect like a project or anything like that?
Yes.
Too,
and
year?
like the next 6 to 8 weeks, I am going to be dropping my project. And hopefully we're gonna get upstream to Republic.
Facts. That's dope. That's dope. Are you
and I got some classes coming up. I'm doing a class in Delaware.
Facts.
And I'm also about to go to Detroit and do a class.
You want to know something crazy?
What?
Like, so before I did this interview, I told my girl I was doing the interview with you. She was like, "Man, please tell her to do my hair."
I'm dead.
like so I was like, shit, I was gonna holler at you about that.
Yeah, I'm going to Detroit. You from Detroit?
Nah.
You not?
No, I'm from here.
Oh wow, you sound like you from Detroit.
Nah. That's the first time I ever got that. I was born in New Orleans.
You sound like he from Detroit.
I was born in New Orleans.
The glasses.
I was born in New Orleans and I moved to New Jersey, and then I moved here when I was 11. So I've been here all my life.
Oh wow,
that's the first time I ever heard anybody say Detroit.
Didn't you think it was Detroit?
ain't no telling.
Yeah,
but nah, I told her I was like, I'm doing an interview, and she was like so geeked up about that.
Yeah,
so that's dope.
I ain't hard to find. My
For
little
sure.
booking site online.
For sure, I'm gonna make sure I surprise. Well, she gonna see this shit.
I'm dead.
I surprise her. With
Yeah,
some shit.
of course.
But okay, so you said 6 to 8 weeks. You're gonna be dropping
a project.
Are you
EP.
doing like any? I didn't mean to cut you off. You doing any like parties or like listening events or?
I want to do one. It just gotta make sense. Like I want to do something like, because when I did my Wig Out release party, that was like big. That was huge. Like that was like one of the biggest parties I've ever thrown. It was so branded, and like we had so much media and press there. It was the premiere of the party. So for the project, I want it to be the same way. Again, it just got to make sense. You know what I'm saying? But that's something I want to start working on. Like once we get the release date, I would immediately want to start working on it.
Make sure you tell us too.
Yeah,
for the media and stuff.
No, for sure.
So like with all your accolades and stuff like that we discussed and stuff like that, what can top some of these experiences that you already had? Like what will be an experience where you like, damn, okay, if I can do this, then I'll be like, okay, we in there.
If I can get signed, I will really feel like I'm in there.
Thanks.
Like at least for like 5 million. I will be like, okay, I'm in there.
Double that shit. Say 10.
Yeah, fuck it. You know, but if I can get signed, if I could start doing like more of like the mainstream stuff, if I can even get a mainstream feature, I would be like, okay, yeah. Like one thing about it, like Clifton did what he said he was going to do.
Facts. For the people that's watching that may be like upcoming artists or anything like that, or just having like basically like insecurities with themselves and want to come out and stuff like that, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them? You know,
I would just say, number one, you were born to pretty much like live for you, right? So I would never like hide in a shell for other people's validation. I feel like other people don't pay your bills. You know what I'm saying? And I always ask people this. Like, I'd be like, look, if the world ended today, right, would you be happy with how you lived your life? Like, do you feel like you lived your life out loud? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the question I would tell people to ask themselves. And if the answer is no, because of like a sexuality or something, then that must mean you're not happy being in, and you need to come out. But and if anybody like wants to like chase dreams and stuff, or you know they're feeling discouraged about chasing dreams, I would just say more so never give up, like, and don't listen to people when they tell you to not to do nothing, because I feel like for so long people was like, oh, I think you should stick to hair, I don't think you should rap, da 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 da. And if I would have listened to people, I would have really probably been a fool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Of course, to be an artist, it costs a lot of money, it's a lot of time.
It costs a lot of
money.
Like
Like studio time is like out the ass an hour. But I mean, I feel like you got to think, I was doing so many things at a young age. I was like I was bored. So by me doing music, now I'm like a little fish in a big sea. And now I could get back into that hustling mentality. It's a different hustle, but I'm willing to do what I have to do to get, where I need to be.
Facts. Last question. Do you feel like, because like you said, you've been getting money for so long and just doing, like, does money sometimes make you lazy? Like, you know what I mean? If you're getting too much of it? Really think about this question, because I always ask everybody.
No, because I feel like I love seeing my account grow. Like, I love hitting new milestones on my account. So, like, I always just grind like I'm broke. Like, I just feel like that's the only way you can really keep it going. Like, I don't go out I know like a lot of people, they just enjoy going out. Me personally, I feel like I don't go out unless I'm really celebrating something, just because I feel like, how it is, in Atlanta, you go out, it's a damn $1,000. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
valet, damn, 600.
Yeah, so me and my friends, like, my friends are like my family, so we like all paying for each other. We all like, well, damn, bitch, how the fuck I spent this? Or like it just be too much going on. Thanks. So I don't go out like that. And I my boyfriend is really good at saving. I'm not really the best at saving, because I love to I go in full throttle. Like, I'll go into the hair store for one thing and come out and then spend like $400 or $500, or I'll go to Target for paper towels and come out with like 2 carts full of stuff, and my boyfriend be like, what the hell is wrong with you? But I mean, I don't know, but I will say I do like watching my account grow, so I will always hustle like I have nothing.
Facts. I have a slogan that I always say: purpose over popularity. When I say that slogan to you, how can you put that in your own words?
Like, you doing it because you really want to do it. Like, but a deeper meaning to me would be like, for instance, like, I went broke for my rap career, right? And it was for my purpose. And I feel like if you can't go broke doing something, then that means you have no purpose in doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a dream for you, and let's say you got $10 and you got to invest your last $10, if you're not willing to invest that, then you're not doing it for the right reason. You know what I'm saying? So
that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Before we get up out of here, Vibin with Veto shout outs. This segment of the show, you just shout out everybody who's with you, supported you from day one, and let's get it.
Okay. Shout out to my girl K Naomi over here in the corner. Kayla's been my friend for so many years, like a long time. Like, she been my friend before I was even like Cliff. Shout out to Mari, my A1 Day 1 everyday assistant / friend. Shout out to my man, who always has my back. Shout out to my mom, my grandmom, my whole entire family. Shout out to all my fans and my supporters who like held me down for so long. Anybody who ever purchased a ticket to any of my classes or just supported me, brought my silk in a mist. Shout out to Amber, my manager. She always coming through. She always just trying to help me. Just shout out to anybody who just shout out to my label, Big Money Records. Just shout out to anybody who just helped me anyway, or just wanted to help or just tried to help. Just shout out to them.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming to Vibe with Veto.
Yeah,
For real.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, look, it's been another episode Vibing with Veto. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on the YouTube. Help me get these goddamn subscribers up, man. For real. We had 3,000, approaching 4. So, hey, we moving in the right direction. But you already know the slogan. We vibrating higher, and we gone.